me doing NSRT, not so random take. It's been a while since I've done one. So many different things that I could speak on, especially over the past week. But I'm gonna stick to the main course that we've been rocking with, that I've talked about, that everybody's been talking about for the last 2 years. I'm gonna stick with COVID, but I'm gonna stick with COVID from more of an opinionated stance right now. And I'm not even really calling this opinion, because it's logic. But people don't use fucking logic these days, so I guess I'll call it opinion, call it op-ed, whatever the fuck you want to call it. But so we all know about this Delta variant. Supposedly there was another variant as well, I think. I'll be quite honest, I haven't been keeping up with majority of media coverage or news coverage when it comes to COVID. I more or less just deal with what is presented to me either at my work or, with business, or, talking with friends and family and catching some newsworthy stuff. And of course, good old social media. But I thought there was another one. But I'm not here to talk about, current events or latest findings, or how many are dead, or how many are getting sick, whose rates are going up, whose rates are not going up. I'm just looking at this from a micro perspective, and I'm factoring in, of course, the news coverage, factoring in the medical statistics, I'm factoring in the rates in the different states. But I'm also going with what these states are doing or not doing. And I'm also factoring in new information from athletes and entertainers. And I just say all that to just say, you can't have it both ways. I've been saying that shit about pretty much everything for quite a while. Because there's this dynamic that has been brought forth, or that has probably always existed, where people seem to want to have their opinions, or declare what they want, or declare how they are, or declare who they are, but then not expect a backlash, not expect the return volley, not expect the pendulum to swing the other way. And I know I'm kind of talking in circles and riddles here, because I'm trying to figure out the best way to put it. It all kind of sprung from something that wasn't even COVID related, but I'm extrapolating it to COVID because it fits here. But I was sitting at my desk, and I was overhearing a conversation from some other individuals in the room, and they were talking about smoke, because I live in the desert. I'm here in Nevada. California wildfires are still present, and they were talking about how the smoke was in the air. I guess it was one of those days where there was more smoke than usual, because I had plenty of clear days, but when the wind changes, that smoke comes through and we get real hazy. So they were talking about how much smoke was in the air, and then the guy, he says, it's because of the California wildfires. And I think the other guy, he might have been foreign, and he made me, new to the area, and he was talking about, there's fires, brush fires, they're in California, and the guy started explaining it, and he was saying, then he started getting jokey with it. He's like, I'm surprised that there's still anything left to burn, because they always have fires, and there's always forest fires every year. I'm like, ha ha, he, that's dumb. In my head, But what got even dumber was the fact that he said it doesn't make any sense, especially with places like that. It's like they don't go through and they clear the dead trees or the trees that have fallen, and then they wonder why they have fires every year, because they don't go through and clear these trees and clear the dead trees, and then there's a lightning strike or some idiot with a match, and then we got new fires. In theory, that makes all the sense in the world. But when you're a state as large as California and you have as much forest land as California, you think that they're going to be able to just walk through the entire forest all across the whole state and just clear every dry piece of land that, or dry branch or dry root or tree that's there? It's not impossible. I ain't going to say it's impossible at all. But what it's going to require is money and resources. And that's where the rub comes in. Because in order for you to do something like that, that requires money and resources. Where you gonna get the money from? Well, this is public land. This is either state funded or federal funded. So that's gonna involve taxes. And that's what's funny to me when people like that say stuff like that, because these are usually the same people who get on your case about taxes or get on your case about spending. Because these are usually the conservative folks or the right wing. And they want to talk about taxes and spending, but then but then on the other end, it's like, well, why don't you clean up your mess? And I'm taking that back to COVID because it's gotten ridiculous. It's gotten to the point to where if you don't understand now why it makes sense to either get vaccinated or sit your fucking ass down for an extended period of time, then I don't know what to tell you. It's like these people, they are still out here hanging their hat on bogus information, bogus research. Everybody all of a sudden becomes a vaccine expert because they seen some YouTube videos or some right wing or fringe news story where somebody's cousin's nephew brother was a med student in BFE University one year, and he doesn't think that A, B, and C is going to happen, and the vaccines can kill you instead of saving your life. I even saw somebody shared it on social media. I saw a banner that was created at a rally, and the banner was this lady. The lady was holding a banner, and it says, "I'd rather bury my family than to." It said something about, "I'd rather bury my family than to have them live in fear, than to vaccinate them and have them live in fear," or some stupid ass shit. And I'm thinking to myself, like, wonder what the family thinks about that. How about we go ask the kids? But, anyway, I digress. I don't get it. It's like, you want things to go back to normal. You want all this to be over, but you're not taking the necessary steps for it to be over. I understand your precautions, and I understand you looking for alternative information to see if you can apply it, because I'm not gonna lie to you, I've done that. I mean, I used to be on these fringe sites. I was very when it came to the vaccine early on. It was like, nah. But as things go on, and as you see what happens to people who are vaccinated and people who are not vaccinated, it starts to make sense for you to just, I guess to use your words, because I don't feel like it's this way, but just bite the bullets if it feels that awful to you. If it feels like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking melt as soon as they stick this needle in my arm. But you want to go traveling, you want to go out and hang out with your family, you want to go do this and that, you want to live a normal life, but you're not vaccinated. And there are people who are vaccinated who might still have the virus in them, because these viruses don't really go away. It's just like the common cold. So then you catch it, and all of a sudden you're on your damn deathbed because you never got vaccinated. Or conversely, you're one of those people who buy into that herd immunity stuff, which works in small doses. You can't herd immunity an entire state. It doesn't work that way. You can't herd immunity an entire city unless your city is a town of maybe 1,000 people, 2,000 people. You can't create that. It's impossible. A moving, living, breathing, transient city with commuters, with people in and out, with commerce, materials in and out. You're not gonna get rid of COVID that way. The only way to get rid of it is to just go ahead and vaccinate. But, and I'm saying all this to say, if you don't want to get vaccinated, don't. But stop bitching about it. Stop being mad that you can't do this or you can't do that. Stop being mad that you have to wear a mask. Stop being mad that your politicians are siding with caution to try to save people's lives and to try to cut down on the amount of people who have to go into the hospitals and who have to go into intensive care and who have to get these breathers, and they are doing the precautionary thing when it comes to mandates. Stop getting mad about it, because you're part of the problem. You're part of the fucking problem. You don't want to get vaccinated, cool. You don't want that shit in your body, you ain't got to have it in your body. But stop bitching about things not being the way that they should be, because they're not the way they should be because of you and people like you. It ain't got nothing to do with people who've been vaccinated. The people who've been vaccinated are sitting around like this. I'm just waiting to get on this train back to normalcy, but the train is late. That's what people who are vaccinated is doing. They waiting to get on the train back to normalcy. But you guys look at it as slavery, which is very insulting to people like me. You also look at it as of conforming or indoctrination, like oh, I got this needle on my arm, now I won't be able to have free will and I won't be able to do what the fuck I want, and I am going to be a robot to the system just because I got a shot to keep me from dying. Y'all weird, and you're idiots. I mean, that's just the way I feel about it. You're just idiots, because it's like, say for instance, what's the worst case scenario? You take the virus and you get sick. You would have got sick without the vaccination. Eventually. It's like COVID ain't hiding. It ain't hiding behind the fences trying to stay away from you. It just ain't got to you yet. So you gonna get sick either way. And okay, say for instance you take I'm not going to even get into the kooky, ridiculous, lame brain conspiracy tinfoil hat theories about the virus. So I'm not going to even introduce those. But just for the fact, just you getting sick. Okay, you get sick. You're going to get sick anyway. And that I mean, it kind of speaks to the herd immunity when you think about it, because the herd immunity is you trying to go and get sick without getting vaccinated. But what if you go get sick and you get sicker and you die? Whereas if you just go get the vaccination and you get sick like you would in a herd immunity, but you live. You can't have it both ways. You can't fucking have it both ways. You can't just be like, oh, and these people, these people too. Freedom. You're losing your freedoms because you right now temporarily have to wear a mask because you're just trying to keep people from getting sick and dying. So that's losing your freedom because you have to wear a fucking mask. You want to stop wearing the mask? Get vaccinated. Tell your idiot friends to get vaccinated. Then we ain't got to wear no goddamn mask no more. You get rid of the mask, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, everybody's vaccinated. Oh, COVID is still out there. Oh, well, we vaccinated. Oh, I feel a little sick. Oh, I'm gonna go rest for a couple days, and now I'm better, and I didn't have to go to the fucking hospital. I think with this NSRT right here, and I'm quite sure I'm gonna get proven wrong, I'm gonna stop talking about COVID. Because it's just it doesn't make sense anymore. You guys are just are just loony. And you hide behind the guise of freedom, choice, uh, government, politics. You hide behind politics. Because I swear, I'm glad that he's not president. But what if you know who was still president? How would some of you morons feel about getting vaccinated? What if you know who, the notorious, was like, yeah, we're going to have some vaccine mandates. Or we're going to have some mask mandates. Would y'all be like slobbing his knob like, oh, yes, that's the right thing to do, Mr. President? And you're just not doing it right now because it's the other guy? When you put politics into stuff like this that deals with just the health, safety, and well-being of citizens, not just in this country, but across the world, you're dangerous fucking people. Politics should have nothing to do with this. But like I said, I think I'm just gonna stop talking about it because it ain't no pleasing y'all. It ain't no saving y'all. Let the chips fall where they may. I'm not gonna go as far as to wish you a rest in peace because I hope that doesn't happen to y'all. But it's in there somewhere. Anyway, I'm not gonna even get into football or R. Kelly or the becoming basketball season or the government shutdown right now. I just wanted to speak on COVID, and I just had to say you can't have it both ways. Just shut up. Go away. Just you don't want to take the vaccine, go sit in your house for an extended period of time. Let it all wash over. If it ever washes over, which viruses don't quite work that way. But if you think it's going to wash over, sit in your house, shut the fuck up, let everybody else live their lives, masks or no masks, and stop spiking the levels and dropping the levels and spiking the levels with your foolishness and your being out there in the world causing chaos or helping to cause chaos. I don't know how else to put it. I know I'm rambling right now, but this subject makes you ramble because the mindset of certain people in this country when it comes to this stuff, and then the audacity to hide it behind like freedoms and slavery and choice and different words like that, when you have so many more important fucking issues in the world for the last 100 to 200 years that need to be addressed when it comes to freedom and choice and things like that. But you want to extrapolate this to a virus because you don't want to get a needle. It's dumbfounding. I'm going to get back to enjoying my evening. I'm done talking about COVID. Y'all have a good one.